You stand at the edge of a quiet night. The world beneath your feet, both familiar and strange, like a dream slipping through your fingers. Somewhere in the dark, a whisper rises, a voice that does not belong to any person you know, but to something. Older, deeper, more profound than time itself. It murmurs in symbols, in riddles, in moments caught between heartbeats. And yes, you are waking to it. Before you move any further, pause for a moment. Like this message, comment below with your first stirring feeling. Subscribe to the unseen current pulling through this cosmic transmission. Because tonight is different. Tonight, the stars have aligned to reveal a truth meant only for those who are ready, the chosen one among millions. It begins quietly. A dream. Not just any dream, but one threaded with vibrant colors and unsettling clarity. The images refuse to fade upon waking. You see a weaponous symbol, a tool etched with ancient runes or glowing with an ethereal light. You hold it, though. It weighs nothing and everything all at once. You sense it's yours, though you do not remember why. It is as if the universe itself breathed life into that dream, handing you a key without words. This is the first sign, the invitation you never expected, but have longed for without knowing it. You may have tried to ignore it, the way one ignores. A shadow creeping across the floor, too dark to face, too close to deny. But the call grows louder, a silent drumbeat in your chest. The invisible pull beneath the surface of your daily existence. The repeated numbers flashing on clocks. The uncanny meetings with strangers who say things that resonate with your soul. Like forgotten songs, the sudden synchronicities that defy coincidence and logic. Why now? Why you? Is this the beginning of a path you never chose? A destiny woven into your very bones? You are not alone in asking these questions. Though it may feel like the night itself has wrapped you in solitude, you walk corridors where mirrors reflect not your face, but possibilities, some frightening, others luminous. Each sign is a beacon, a coded message sent by the cosmos to unlock what has been dormant. Look closely at these moments. The way the leaves turn at your footsteps, the flash of a bird's wings, the unexpected kindness from a stranger. These are not random. They are whispers of the divine, invitations to awaken from the illusion of separation. You may feel hesitant. Doubt creeps in. How can you, an ordinary soul, be singled out by forces beyond comprehension? What burden does this place upon you? The paradox lies in this very hesitation, feeling lost, yet being found, feeling small, yet bearing the vastness of a secret mission. The universe speaks in paradoxes because truth itself is a labyrinth. The more you seek to grasp it with logic, the more it dissolves into mystery. It is here, in the heart of confusion, that you stand on sacred ground. Consider the moment when everything seemed to unravel. When the walls of your comfort zone cracked and fell, revealing a void vast and infinite. That moment was not punishment. It was initiation. The beginning of your transformation from a mere wanderer into a warrior of light. Can you hear the silent summons within your soul? The pulse beneath your doubts, calling you forward? The signs do not shout, they whisper. They are gentle hands guiding you through a fog thick with uncertainty. The dream, the synchronicities, the inner knowing, they converge, pointing toward a weapon you are permitted to wield. A power not of destruction, but of creation and revelation. This weapon is more than steel or flame. It is the sword of discernment, the shield of truth, the lance of courage forged by your own awakening. And God call it the universe, the source. The divine has spoken. You are permitted to use this weapon tonight. Do you feel the weight of those words? They are a charge, a permission, a liberation. No longer must you hide in the shadows of doubt or fear. No longer must you shrink from the radiant unknown. This night is your crossing point. But what does it mean to be permitted, to be chosen, to carry a weapon not crafted by human hands, but by cosmic will? You may not yet know. You may still wrestle with the paradox that the very sense of being lost is the first step in being truly led. That isolation is not exile, but the sacred space where the soul learns its true shape. You might ask, how do I recognize the signs meant for me? How do I trust a call so intangible that it feels like smoke slipping through my fingers? These questions have no simple answers, only invitations to lean into the mystery, to surrender the need for certainty, to feel the tension between fear and faith tonight as the stars shimmer with ancient light. Know this, the weapon you dreamed of is real in the realm beyond form. It is woven into your very essence, waiting for your awakening touch. This is the moment where the veil thins, and your journey begins not as an accident of fate, but as a chosen unfolding of destiny. Are you ready to answer? To step into the paradox of being lost and found, of feeling broken and whole? The next step awaits in the patterns that have led you here, the signs and synchronicities that are your divine language. Breathe deeply now. Feel the hum beneath your skin. This is the calling, the sacred summons stirring the depths of your being. When you are ready, move forward with open eyes and an open heart. For the night is alive with possibility, and the weapon is in your hand. The signs have found you. But why? Why you, of all souls wandering this vast, tangled cosmos? The question echoes in the chambers of your heart, as ancient as the stars themselves. It is not mere chance or blind fortune that has placed these symbols, these sacred markers, before your eyes. No, there is a hidden design at work, one woven from the threads of spirit, psyche, and cosmic order. To understand this design, you must first step beyond the veil of surface reality, beyond the familiar stories you tell yourself about who you are. You must dive into the depths where shadows and light entwine, where the soul dances with paradox and mystery. Carl Jung, the master of the psyche, taught that these signs are more than coincidence. They are archetypal calls, messages from the unconscious speaking the language of myth and metaphor, the dreams, the repeated numbers, the uncanny meetings. They are synchronistic events, a term Jung himself gave to meaningful coincidences that defy logic but speak directly to your souls. Journey. Imagine your psyche as a vast landscape, dotted with dormant symbols and forgotten languages. The signs are the language of your higher self, reaching through the noise of daily life to awaken dormant parts of you. They are the silent echoes of the self calling you home, beckoning you to reclaim what has been lost beneath layers of conditioning, fear, and distraction. The mystics of Kabbalah would say the signs are sparks of divine light, fragments of the Ein Sof, the infinite seeking to reunite with their source. Each synchronicity is a letter in the sacred script of your soul's destiny, a step in the spiral ascent back toward the One, Gurdjieff, the seeker who revealed the path of self-remembering, would urge you to see these signs as jolts to wake you from the mechanical slumber of ordinary life. The invisible pull you feel is a call to awaken your consciousness, to break free from the programmed patterns that bind you to unconscious repetition. Dr. Gabor mates wisdom on trauma, and healing deepens this understanding. Many chosen ones carry within them the wounds of disconnection, early fractures of self that manifest as spiritual hunger. The signs come not just as guidance, but as healing keys, tools to unlock trauma's grip and reclaim wholeness. The weapon you hold is forged in this crucible of pain and transformation. You are being summoned because you carry within you a unique alchemy, the fusion of light and shadow, that the world desperately needs. Your wounds are not weaknesses. They are the very crucible from which your power is born. This is the secret the signs whisper. Your brokenness is your gift. But the signs do not rive with fanfare. They come disguised as puzzles, as paradoxes that challenge your deepest assumptions about reality. They ask you to trust a wisdom beyond reason, to embrace uncertainty as a sacred path. The hidden design is not linear or simple. It is a cosmic dance that unfolds in fractals and spirals. You might see patterns repeating in your life, relationships that mirror old wounds, challenges that test your faith, moments of profound isolation that carve out space for new light. These are not mistakes or punishments, but coded instructions embedded in your life's tapestry. The Gnostic traditions teach that the material world is a realm of illusion, a labyrinth designed to veil the divine spark within. Your encounter with these signs is a breach in that velar crack where light pours in. You are being invited to awaken the divine within and navigate the maze with eyes wide open. This is why the signs found you. You are not chosen at random. You are the vessel for a sacred mission, a guardian of truths that cannot be spoken in ordinary language. The weapon you hold is your inner wisdom, your discernment, your ability to see through illusion and act from divine purpose. Yet, there is a sacred tension here. The signs demand not just recognition, but surrender. They ask you to relinquish the ego's need for control and certainty, to step into the unknown with courage and humility, to become both seeker and warrior, both questioner and knower. You might wonder, how do I distinguish a true sign from mere coincidence or wishful thinking? How do I trust this hidden design when the path feels so precarious? The answer is found in alignment. When the signs resonate with your deepest truth, they stir your soul to life. They awaken a knowing so profound it bypasses the mind's chatter and speaks directly to your being. It feels like coming home to yourself, even if the road ahead remains shrouded in mystery. The universe will continue to send these signs, weaving them into your life's fabric with increasing clarity and intensity. Each one is a mirror reflecting your inner state, a challenge to deepen your presence and awareness. As you begin to see the hidden design, you start to recognize the sacred choreography of your life. the moments of confusion, the trials, the synchronicities. They are threads in a divine tapestry that only reveals its full pattern. When seen from the perspective of the soul, this understanding is a turning point. It is the gateway from passive bewilderment to active participation. You move from being a mere recipient of random events to becoming a conscious co-creator of your destiny. The weapon you wield tonight is not just a dream or a symbol. It is the awakened awareness that sees the hidden design and dares to walk it. Can you feel the shift inside you? The trembling between fear and faith, doubt and knowing? This is the crucible of transformation where the old self dissolves and the chosen one emerges. Soon, you will face the choice to either heed this sacred call or turn away, to embrace your path or sink back into the illusion of separation. The consequences of ignoring this summons will ripple through your very soul. But for now, hold this truth close. You were not randomly chosen. The signs found you because you are uniquely equipped to carry this sacred mission. The hidden design is calling you to awaken, to remember, to rise. Take a breath. Feel the gravity of this revelation settling deep within your bones. You are no longer lost. You are being led by a design older than time, by a wisdom that transcends understanding. The silence settles like a heavy fog. You feel it now, the profound isolation that descends when the call is heard but unanswered. It is not a punishment inflicted from outside, but a consequence woven into the fabric of the soul's covenant. To ignore the call is to step into a sacred crucible where loneliness becomes your only companion. This is the divine isolation, the shadow side of being chosen. You may have tried to deny the signs, the dreams that haunt your sleep, the synchronistic moments that prick your awareness. You may have turned away, telling yourself it was all coincidence, illusion, or mere imagination. But the soul remembers what the mind forgets. The deeper you resist, the more the cosmos contracts around you, narrowing your world until the walls close in with the weight of a silent accusation. This isolation is paradoxical. It is the loneliness of the path not yet embraced, the ache of potential unrealized. You walk among crowds, yet feel unseen, unheard, like a ghost drifting through a life not meant for you. The familiar becomes hollow, the known landscape suddenly foreign. Kabbalistic teachings speak of exile as a necessary phase for the soul's return. This exile, however, is not geographical but existential. It is the distancing of your spirit from its true source, a karmic consequence of turning away from the sacred summons. You live in the world but no longer belong fully to it. You inhabit a liminal space, caught between what was and what must become. Jung's shadow work reveals this isolation as the soul's dark night of the spirit, the place where unresolved wounds and hidden fears surface to be faced. The refusal to answer the call keeps the shadow locked away, but it festers nonetheless, manifesting as anxiety, despair, and a gnawing emptiness that no external success can fill. This karmic consequence is not punishment, but an echo, a mirror, reflecting the soul's resistance. Every avoidance tightens the grip of unseen chains, binding you to repetitive cycles that drain your vitality. You may find yourself trapped in toxic relationships, endless doubts, or feelings of meaninglessness, as if the universe itself withdraws its grace. Yet within this divine isolation lies a profound invitation to confront this self you have hidden, to face the abyss that holds both terror and transformation. It is here, in this void, that the chosen one either breaks or begins to awaken. There is a sacred tension in this refusal, a struggle between the comfort of denial and the terror of embracing a destiny so vast it threatens to overwhelm. You are caught in a cosmic dance where every step backward echoes through your karma, but every breath toward the light shifts the axis of your soul. Gurdjieff taught that the greatest enemy to awakening is not the world outside but the inner sleep. To ignore the call is to remain in this sleep, lulled by illusions of normalcy while the soul cries out for liberation. The weapon you were granted remains dormant, a promise unfulfilled. You might feel trapped by this karmic weight, as if your fate is sealed by past choices you barely understand. But karma, like the signs, is a language of learning, not judgment. It calls you to reckon with the energies you have set in motion, to transmute them through conscious awareness. Dr. Gabor Mate's insight into trauma reveals another layer. The resistance to the call often stems from unresolved pain, childhood, wounds, or survival patterns that make awakening seem dangerous. The soul's isolation is intertwined with the mind's protection mechanisms. Yet these shields can become prisons. You stand at a crossroads. The divine isolation is a dark valley that tests your resolve. It demands you face your fears, your shadow, your own capacity for surrender. It is the threshold before transformation, where many falter, turning away from the light because it blinds as much as it reveals. But you carry within you the strength to break this cycle. The weapon entrusted to you is not just a tool of battle, but a key of liberation. It cuts through the veils of illusion and karmic bondage, opening the way toward freedom. The signs you once ignored will grow louder, more persistent. The dreams will deepen in intensity. The synchronicities will multiply, shaking the very foundations of your life until you cannot look away. This is not coincidence. It is the cosmos insisting on your awakening. The divine isolation is temporary, a passage rather than a prison. It prepares the soul for the weight and wonder of the mission ahead. It clears the path of illusions and false securities, making room for true vision. Ask yourself, how long will you linger in this shadow? How many lifetimes will you let pass before you say yes to the call? The karmic consequences ripple far beyond you. Your refusal to embrace your path impacts not only your soul, but the collective consciousness. The weapon in your hand is not just for personal awakening, but for the healing of many. Yet there is mercy woven into this cosmic design. The very isolation that feels like exile also contains the seeds of awakening. In your solitude, you learn to hear the subtle voice beneath the noise. In your emptiness, the possibility of fullness begins to emerge. You are not abandoned. You are in the crucible. The question now is, will you awaken from this exile? Will you gather the courage to wield your weapon, to step into the sacred fire of transformation? The choice is yours. The cosmos waits with bated breath. The moment arrives like a thunderclap in the stillness of your solar rebellion, not against others, but against the deepest inertia within yourself. The awakening rebellion is born from the tension between the weight of isolation and the spark of recognition, the silent defiance that rises when the heart refuses to remain chained in shadow. You begin to say yes. This is no gentle assent. It is a fierce, trembling surrender. A declaration to the cosmos that you will no longer be passive in the unfolding of your destiny. The weapon entrusted to you, once heavy with doubt and silence, now begins to hum with purpose, responding to the pulse of your rebirth. Ask yourself, when did you first hear that small voice inside, whispering, "I am ready"? Was it in a moment of crisis, a flash of insight, or a quiet dawn where the ordinary seemed suddenly sacred? This awakening rebellion is a sacred rupture, fracturing the illusion of safety to reveal the raw, untamed landscape of your true self. The signs that once teased and taunted now take on new clarity. The dreams shift from puzzles to prophecies. The synchronicities no longer feel like chance, but as divine choreography, a dance designed to pull you forward. You begin to see the hand of the divine in the everydayer bird's call that feels like a message, a face in the crowd that mirrors your own struggle and triumph. This rebellion is an act of courage, a refusal to remain captive to fear, doubt, or old wounds. It is the moment when you reclaim the narrative of your life from the shadows of what if and not yet. You choose to step into the fire, knowing it will burn away the false, the brittle, the incomplete. Gurdjieff's teaching on self-remembering comes alive here. You begin to observe yourself with new eyes, no longer lost in the drama of the world, but anchored in the awareness of your own awakening. The rebellion is not chaotic or reckless. It is disciplined and deliberate, a warrior's vow to align with truth rather than comfort. You may find allies appearing on this path, fellow travelers whose souls resonate with your own. Together, you form a silent brotherhood or sisterhood of light, bound not by blood but by shared awakening. Their presence affirms your journey, a mirror reflecting the power of the weapon you wield. Yet this rebellion is deeply personal. It begins within the solitude of your heart, where you wrestle with old fears, the fear of failure, rejection, loss. To say yes is to confront these fears head-on, to step willingly into uncertainty with open arms. The paradox of the awakening rebellion is this: in surrendering control, you claim power. In embracing vulnerability, you become unbreakable. The weapon you hold is not forged in steel alone, but in the alchemy of your own transformed spirit. The cosmos conspires with you now. Doors open where there were walls. Paths appear where there was only wilderness. The signs accelerate, no longer subtle, but bold, an orchestra swelling toward a crescendo. You are moving from spectator to conductor in the symphony of your destiny. But beware, this path is not without trial. The rebellion awakens resistance. From within and without, old patterns rise like storms, testing the strength of your resolve. Doubts whisper that you are not worthy, that the call was a mistake. Yet each time you resist, you deepen your commitment. By choosing to rise again, the weapon you wield grows sharper with each act of courage. It cuts through illusions, severs ties to limiting beliefs, and carves out sacred space for your true self to emerge, This rebellion is a sacred war fought in silence and solitude. It is a battle against the shadows that seek to keep you small. And it is the gateway to the final revelation, the profound truth that you were never lost. Feel the power coursing through you now. The rebellion pulses in your veins like lightning. The weapon in your hand is alive, charged by your willingness to say yes to the unknown. You are no longer waiting. You are becoming. The night may still be dark, but your spirit burns with a fierce, unquenchable light. You stand now at the edge of the abyss, breath caught between what was and what is becoming. The journey, the labyrinth of shadows, the trials of isolation, the rebellion against the darkness has led you here. And here, at last, the veil lifts, revealing a truth so vast it reshapes the very contours of your soul. You were never lost. This is the great cosmic paradox. The wilderness you wandered was not a detour, but the path itself. Every moment of despair, every fracture of trust, every seeming betrayal was coded with light. The weapon you feared you wielded in vain was, in truth, the key that held you steady through the storm. You see now, the labyrinth was designed not to trap you, but to teach you, to strip away the layers of illusion that obscured your vision. You were not broken, but being reassembled, piece by sacred piece, into a whole more radiant than before. The signs, the dreams, the synchronicities, the relentless whispers from the beyond were breadcrumbs from your higher self, each one a pulse of divine love guiding you back to remembrance, back to the place where your soul first breathed its eternal light. Gnostic wisdom calls this awakening gnosis, knowledge, beyond knowing, a remembering of the divine spark within that transcends mortal forgetting. This remembering dissolves the illusion of separation and reveals the eternal unity, threading through all existence. You were never abandoned in the void. You were being cradled by the unseen hands of the cosmos, held in the sacred pause between what has passed and what will be. The isolation was a sacred womb, the silence a divine symphony playing the notes of your rebirth. The wounds you carry are not scars of defeat, but inscriptions of initiation proof that you have walked through fire and emerged transformed. Your weapon is no longer a burden, but a beacon, glowing with the light of wisdom earned through trials. This revelation does more than heal. It transforms. It rewrites your story from one of loss to one of profound grace. You realize that the betrayals you feared, the loneliness that cut deep, were chapters in a sacred text authored by your own soul's unfolding. You are the chosen vessel, the keeper of a cosmic flame passed down through ages. The weapon you hold is the gift of awareness, the ability to see through the veils and act from a place of sacred power. The journey ahead is no longer shadowed by doubt, but illuminated by faith, a faith born not of certainty, but of knowing that you are held by forces greater than yourself. You step forward, not blindly, but with the clarity of one who has been led through darkness into light. The paradox remains. You were never lost, yet you had to lose yourself to find this truth. You were never forgotten, yet you had to be forgotten by the world to remember the world anew. Feel the surge of this knowing like a river breaking free from frozen banks, rushing with unstoppable force. The weapon in your hand shines now as a star, guiding not only you, but those who will follow. This is your sacred charge, to move forward in faith, to wield your weapon with compassion and courage, to be the living testament that even in the deepest night, the light is never truly extinguished. The cosmos sings your name in the silence between the stars. You are chosen. You are guided. You are whole. Walk forward with the grace of one who remembers their divine origin and the power to shape their destiny. The night recedes. The dawn breaks. Your journey has only just begun.